Welcome to the Lawson and Gift podcast. Make sure to hit that like button, share the videos, and subscribe. Week 8's in the books, so we're going to be doing our review here.
Yeah, Gift, a lot of crazy things happened on week 8, and I saw a lot of people were mad about the Jets game. Yeah. And I picked Jacksonville to win. I did think the Jets would cover, but this is why you can't bet on bad coaches. But yeah. I don't think it was all that bad to pick because no one was complaining when you picked the Jets to beat the Cowboys. So people need to understand there's ebbs and flows to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't think that Adam Gase completely fell off the track with this team, but obviously he did.
Yeah.
There was things in that, we'll talk about it when we get to that game, because there was things in that game where they didn't give the offense a chance.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to fans. Subscribe, share the videos, hit the like button. I really appreciate it because the views are growing exponentially. We're finally reaching the type of views we were getting when we were at like 6K subscribers. So I appreciate it, of course. Now we can finally monetize the videos. Yeah. I mean, that paid for a vacation to Brazil for me. So that will definitely help.
So we'll recap the Thursday night game really quick. Redskins, Vikings. Vikings took care of that game. I think, defensively they played well. And then once Case Keenum got knocked out, then the deal was really just sealed.
Yeah, and that's one thing I do wonder. If Case Keenum stays in that game, what happens? Probably not much of anything because obviously the Vikings had a third, fourth, or fifth gear they could have hit. But with the way that Redskins D-line was playing, they were playing tenacious. I do think maybe Case could have even got that game within 3. I don't think the Redskins would have won it. But this is why we were saying a few weeks back, Redskins are going to cover a lot. Kind of like how we've been saying the Raiders would cover a lot this year. Now I think the Redskins are going to transform into that. But one thing on Dwayne Haskins, he's bad.
Really bad.
And I know it's easy for me to say, but we've been saying it the whole time. And this is just a worse situation for him to develop too. But let's not blame the Redskins for everything. Dwayne Haskins isn't a good football player.
No, he shouldn't be out there right now at all. I guess they had to put him out there because of Case Keenum having to exit the game. But he's just simply not ready. He may never be, but would be disastrous. They won't be covering anything if he's out there.
Well, and I don't think he will be out there. The ultimate coverer, Colt McCoy, will be out here. And then about Dalvin Cook, no Adam Thielen, not a lot of Kirk Cousins working it down the field, a lot of short throws, yet he still ate. And there was more yards on the table, but you saw the backup running back I've been raving about as well, Madison, get a lot of yards. Dalvin Cook's an MVP candidate. I know some people are saying I'm showing homerism with the Dalvin Cook, saying he's the best running back in the league. But, man, he's running through mud. It's not like this is a top 5 or top 10 offensive line. He's running through mud, and he might have gained more hard yards than anyone in this league this year. I think you even said a stat that proved that. Like, for instance, when we're saying Deion Lewis sucked, he's last in the league after contact. So that's one thing to look at with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook makes that team go offensively, and if he's not on, the offense isn't going to be going anywhere. So that's how important he is. But yeah, I think if you put Adam Thielen in that lineup, it's a bigger blowout, I think. But Diggs had a good game, though. He played well, but I think Adam Thielen would have made it overwhelming.
A little bit concerned about Stephon Diggs because he fumbles every single game. But still, things are looking up for the Vikings. I mean, Bears losing this week definitely helps the Vikings. Not saying the Vikings match up good with the Bears when they're going to play them next. I'm not saying anything like that. But at least it gives the Vikings some breathing room. And then you're probably going to play the Chiefs without Pat Mahomes next week.
Yeah, it's looking like that. And with that, we'll jump to the Seahawks-Falcons. And, Seahawks, they commanded this game without question, But, wow, they had to let Falcons come back to blow the spread, right?
The point spread was 7.5, right? Because I was thinking that when the Falcons pulled up for that late meaningless field goal when they could have just went for 6.
I split a 2-team parlay because I had it at 7, thankfully, so I was able to get a little money from it. But Yeah, I mean, Seahawks dominated that game, and then just because they didn't care, they let them come back at the end a little bit. And
Yeah, I mean, Matt Schaub was a little bit better than I thought he would be. I mean, if there's anything we can take from that game. But secondly, though, guys, Russell America Wilson, MVP candidate, playing in an MVP form. But I don't know about you guys, and you guys can comment down below, but I got a lot of questions about the Seahawks. I know they're winning games. I know they're putting up dubs. But I do think this is a very, very vulnerable team. I do think they're missing maybe not just one or two pieces, like 3 or 4 good players on the defensive side of the ball and offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think that Ravens game was an eye-opener when they played them, and I think they have problems at stopping the run. I think that's one of the things defensively.
And we've been saying that the whole year, even before the Ravens game. We were just a little bit worried about this team.
Yeah, with that, let's jump to the Chargers-Bears game. I did call this one for the Chargers to actually win the game.
But no one was commenting, reminding you of that pick.
No, it'll be everything else. But yeah, the Bears, man, what a bad way to lose the game, though. It's deja vu, obviously, from the Eagles game, missed kick, and look, I know people are gonna just focus on that, but it really, for me, comes down to how bad this offense is.
It comes down to Mitch Trubisky. It's not even the offense, because they actually got the run game moving. That's the one thing we said they needed to do. They needed to get the run game moving. They get the run game moving. Yeah, did you see those 2 Trubisky turnovers in the second half? The Bears were in command of this game. Let's be realistic. The Bears had this one. I think they were up like 16-9, and then Trubisky fumbles, and he committed another turnover later. Again, this Bears team is straddled because of Mitchell Trubisky. We've been saying it since the kid was drafted. People say we're harsh. People say we're haters. But once again, we're proven right on this. And Mitch Trubisky lost this game for him. We can talk about the kicker, and that's fine. I know what it feels like when a kicker misses easy field goals to win big games. But without this victory, you don't see there's any way forward for the Bears. I don't see it.
Yeah, and Matt Nagy is having to be quiet about this and trying to divert why they're losing in other directions when the problem's very clear that it's Trubisky.
What was he trying to divert to?
Well, talking about things like that they have to do certain things better, the team as a whole, and just anything but saying it's Trubisky.
That fumble by Trubisky, in his own, like I think it was around like the Bears 35 or 30. That was the thing that cost them the game. And one big play, one careless play can cost the team a game in this league, especially when you don't have an explosive offense.
And even Miller was playing well in this game, the receiver. I mean, you have weapons there. It's not like they don't have weapons either. It's just so obvious that it's Trubisky. They really need to bench him if they want to even try to save their season, I think. And it might be too late anyway.
Agreed. You probably have to go chase Daniel because he's going to take care of the ball better. At this point, it's about ball security.
Yep, and with that, we'll move to the Giants-Lions. And I think there's a couple things from a Giants perspective here. One, Daniel Jones can't take care of the football. I guess people can give him a pass because he's a rookie and all of that, but there's no excuse for that. That's the difference in games, and you can't turn the ball over. Lions definitely capitalized on that. And also, the Giants' defense is just terrible. I think we have to realize that, too. They have to rebuild the defense.
Yeah, it's terrible. And from a Lions perspective, do you even take anything from this game? Or
I don't think that you can.
No.
I mean, they play well offensively, but it's the Giants defense. So
yeah, and when I think you hit the nail on the head, the turnovers from Daniel Jones and Giff, and they added a touchdown late, but this game was decided pretty early.
Yeah, the Giants had no chance, and turnovers made that pretty clear early on too. And then with that, we'll move to the Jets-Jaguars game. And yeah, I do apologize for telling people to bet this, but I didn't think that Adam Gase completely fell off the rails when it came to play calling. But if he's going to let grudges get in the way, like if he's not going to play Le'Veon Bell
or use him in a good manner,
yeah, then they're not going to have a chance. And I really think that that's the case. The defense, I thought, they weren't great, but I felt like they gave them a chance to win. The offense was absolutely terrible.
Well,
for the Jets.
and where's the motivation? Where's the fight? You know, you come out in this game, and I'm watching this game and the Bills game side by side TVs, and you see the Bills and Eagles come out with energy, everyone fighting for every inch. Then you see this Jets defense allow the Jags to go down on that first drive, and that really set the tempo. The Jets, they weren't ready to play. We can talk about X's and O's. Adam Gase has done nothing to get Le'Veon Bell involved. He's done nothing to help Sam Darnold. He's making Sam Darnold look like Mitch Trubisky when Sam Darnold actually has a ton of talent. This is about a team that simply wasn't ready to play the game. And if you're not ready to play against a team like the Jaguars, they're going to do what they want to you. They're going to physically maul you. They're going to run it down your throat, and then they're going to laugh about it. That was a laugher of a game. This could have been, this score doesn't really do it justice. It was like a 30-point margin just based on watching it.
Yeah, the offense, again, I was expecting a better performance from the offense, but they put, aside from the opening drive, I felt like the offense didn't help the defense at all. And you're right, it could have been even more if the Jags offense was more explosive.
Yeah, and we're going to do another video on it, but it comes down to Adam Gase not being ready to be an NFL head coach, and he shouldn't be anywhere near an NFL head coaching position. We thought it might go bad, but we didn't think it'd go this bad.
And even when he was with Miami, I mean, I'm going to save it for the video, but the play calling, we were like, okay, he's decent at offensive play calling, not great, but now I don't even know if I would want him as my OC.
Oh, hell no.
And with that, we'll briefly talk about Bengals-Rams, and this turned out to really be the money pick of the week, it seems like, because it was clear as day. Rams are a really good football team. Bengals are bottom three, and it showed in this game.
Bengals actually did show some signs in this game, though. And if B.W. Webb doesn't fall down on that trick play, this game's even closer. But it also the one thing I was surprised about was Bengals were actually able to run the ball for the first time this year. I don't know if that continues, but you're right. This was the money pick of the week. I don't know if we learned anything about the Rams, but we did see a rumor that they want to get rid of Aqib Talib by the trade deadline. So I don't know what that means if they're bringing in another corner, if they're comfortable with what they have. But for the Rams, this is just business as usual. We need to see more from them, of course.
Yeah, and I'm just really waiting for their offense to take flight, and that's the run game, and that's really where
Cooper Kupp though he's so important to this team. And we knew he was good. I just didn't know we'd see so many explosive plays from him this year. He's really the only one who provides anything explosive on that Rams offense.
Yeah, I agree. And then Brandon Cooks exited early. But yeah, last year when they did lose Cooper Kupp, we were saying, it shouldn't make that big of an impact. But if he is this good, then obviously it would make an impact like that. And we'll move to the Bucs-Titans game next. And one thing I'm officially saying is I don't believe in Jameis Winston at all anymore. I mean, I was even on record at saying, I wonder what he could do with a good team. I'm not at that point anymore. He's absolutely terrible. He can't take care of the football. They were actually in this game.
Buccaneers should have won this game. I think this was one of the most exciting games of the weekend.
Between the turnovers and settling for field goals, I think that really did the Bucs in.
Yeah, no, and also it's just even little plays like Perryman dropping a really good throw from Jameis Winston in the red zone, and then you look at the Buccaneers kind of getting jobbed out of a defensive touchdown. I thought I can go see the replay again, but I thought like they got a little bit screwed. But what it comes down to is Jameis Winston doesn't play smart enough, and he got Mike Evans involved a little bit more in this game. But Mike Evans has been largely AWOL this year. And if anyone should be demanding a trade, Jalen Ramsey's demanding trades. I want to see Mike Evans demand a trade. I would fully support that because he's being wasted. As for the Titans, though, it's a big difference with Tannehill. I don't know if it should be. I don't know if this says Marcus the Magic Man Mariota is way worse than everyone thought. But the Titans are way better with him, and Deion Lewis still stinks.
Oh, he still stinks, and they continuously kill drives with him in there. But they obviously did enough in this game. Derrick Henry had a decent game outside of that fumble. But yeah, defensively for the Titans, though, I was a little bit displeased at times.
Yeah.
Things like seeing Vaccaro, on Mike Evans, and thinking that would be enough, or even Kevin Byard. You can't leave a safety on Mike Evans. That's not going to work. But we've been saying Vrabel doesn't understand personnel for a long time.
No. And the secondary is good on paper, but he doesn't know how to scheme for it. And you can really throw the ball on this team because they don't have a dominant pass rusher.
And with that, we'll go to a disappointing outing by the Buffalo Bills. And obviously the offense was disappointing in this game, but I was more shocked at the defense lying down against the run. I mean, I was worried about them being undersized at the beginning of the season, but it's not like the Eagles are, really powerhouse when it comes to the run game.
They haven't ran the ball all year, Geff. That's one of our problems with the Eagles.
The Bills player on defense, they weren't even touching the running backs at a certain point. It was bad. The effort from the defense in this game was pathetic by the Bills.
Yeah, credit to the Eagles for responding. They made some big plays in this game. But yeah, the first thing that stood out to me was the Eagles being able to run the ball. But you look at that Miles Sanders big 60, 70-yard touchdown run. After the half, no one even touched him. And he just ran right up the middle.
Right up the middle. And that's right where Ed Oliver is. I think that's part of the Bills' problem right now is maybe that they're playing too much against the pass and the pass rush, not focusing on the run.
Yeah.
But I have to say that the Bills, the 5-1 record was nice and everything, but this was the first, outside of the Patriots, the first good team they played. Bills are pretenders. They're not contenders.
But the schedule for the Bills doesn't look that bad after this, though. Correct?
No, it looks good. They got the Redskins next at home. They'll play the Dolphins again. They'll play the Jets again. So you're right. It doesn't look that bad, but obviously they're not ready to hang with any of the big boys.
No, I don't even know if they're like you said, like they're not ready to even hang with like Eagles, Ravens tier teams. No. But Geff, the play that changed this game, and it was really frustrating, was before the end of the first half. It's like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, not a lot of time left on the clock. Bills call a quarterback sweep right, and Josh Allen fumbles. Geff,
the whole momentum was lost after that. I agree.
Because the defense was all over Wentz and company before that. And the Eagles, of course, capitalized with a touchdown before the end of the first half. And that was a death blow. But I also there was some bad coaching by the Buffalo Bills. Third quarter, Bills start running the rock. Frank Gore starts getting going. Those 2 3-yard carries are starting to turn into 6 and 7. Yeah, for some reason, mid-third quarter, Bills just went all-out pass. Yeah. Did you notice that?
Offensive coordinator Brian Daboll, big issue with the Bills as well. I don't agree with the play calling at all.
That's where I'm at with the Bills. I think they're a pretender because they don't know how to stick with the run, and their play calling isn't good enough. And Josh Allen, he's not going to be able to throw it in 35 mile per hour wind.
No, and not with no receivers. They got to understand their personnel, and like I just said with the Titans, same thing with the Bills as far as the offense goes. They don't understand what they are as a football team. They should be a ground and pound team first and then branch off of that. And if you lose that way, at least you're giving it your best effort. They're not doing it, and I'm pretty disappointed with the Buffalo Bills right now. And with that, we'll move to the Broncos Colts. This was another game where I was a little bit shocked. I guess you have to give a little bit of credit to Denver's defense in this game.
You gotta.
They did well. They did well enough to keep it close. Obviously, the Broncos offense really sputtered out, and they were up. They had a 13-0 lead, but then they let the Colts come right back. So.
We obviously need to talk about Texans, Colts, and even the Jags for this division. We got to do a video this week. But did you see that play near the end of the game by Jacoby Brissett when he was backed up in his own end zone? Von Miller has him. He spins out and throws like 40 yards on the dime to T.Y. Hilton. Man, this Colts team is mentally tough. Really mentally tough. And Vinatieri's struggling all day, yet when the money's on the line, he's true from 51 yards. This Colts team just has a lot of fight. They do have problems. We know that. But they have a lot of fight. But I am a little bit worried about the Colts. I do. Giff, right now, man, I might be the only one in the United States saying this, but I think the Texans and Jags are better than the Colts. But the Colts have a lot of mental toughness, and they're really well coached. But Joe Flacco, I can't stand this guy. Did you see him actually call out Vic Fangio after the game?
I didn't see that. That's shocking, though.
It's just ridiculous. Like, he wanted to go for it on 4th and 5, like, late in the game. But, Joe, they didn't go for it because they don't have confidence in you. Not because they're overly conservative. It's because you are absolutely terrible. Joe Flacco is terrible, man. And they can't let this man continue as starting quarterback. They need to cut him, rid of him. They need to do what we said, not even bring him in. But they can't leave him around this locker room anymore because people talk a lot about other players who are more boisterous being cancers. Joe Flacco's a cancer in his own way.
Yeah, he is, and really because he's not putting forth max effort and going for the kill. And when you play football, especially in the NFL, you got to have grit. You have to want to win. And Joe Flacco just doesn't have that fire burning anymore inside him, and he hasn't had it for quite some time. They're obviously the Broncos. They're in a position now where they're trading everybody away. I mean, Daniel Sanders, I didn't agree with that trade.
As soon as Drew Lock's healthy, get him in there. But even this week, if you got to start a third stringer, you got to do it. You can't let this man continue making a mockery of your organization, and that's what he's done. Exactly.
And you have players like Von Miller who are true to the Broncos that want to keep this thing going in the future and build next year. Flacco's killing that right now.
It's a depressing situation on all accounts.
And how much effort Sutton's giving, too.
He made a really nice catch.
So with that, we'll move to the Cardinals Saints, and I was glad that I changed my mind about this one, and really straightforward. Saints are extremely good football
But Cardinals played good in this game at times. I don't think your instincts were off about maybe thinking the Cardinals would cover this, because they played good at times in this game, but they didn't have enough to just get over the hurdle. And once that Saints offense stayed on the field, Murray just beat them the hell down. The play action with Drew Brees was lethal.
I think Cardinals can hang with certain teams, but obviously not a top 3 team in the league. But I agree, though. The offense can be dangerous. I think we've seen that. I can at least, because I thought the offense would be terrible this year. That hasn't been. And then, of course, defensively, they have some issues, too.
Well, they do. And Giff, I know the stat line for Drew Brees looked really good, but I got questions about Drew Brees still. I mean, really? I did say the Saints are the best team in this league right now. I do think they right now, if it started today, playoff started today, I do think they'd win the Super Bowl. But I got questions about Drew Brees. Him playing against the Cardinals secondary isn't going to do anything to answer my questions.
Yeah, I agree. And then early on in this game, too, he was a little bit rusty, but obviously caught on. But and with that, we'll move to the Panthers 49ers. And again, the 49ers take care of business. I am ready to say that D-line is playing at an extremely high level. They stopped McCaffrey. But it's tenacious, that front four.
Yeah, it's boasted the defensive MVP at the moment. I mean, I think that's the one takeaway from this game. He completely wreaked havoc. Also, it's just the way the 49ers started this game. I watched this game. All I needed to do was watch the first half. Then I already got my conclusion. They completely beat down the Panthers physically. I've been waiting for someone to beat down the Panthers physically.
Yeah, I mean, because the formula is so easy. I mean, maybe it's easy to say. Maybe it's not as easy to stop McCaffrey as we would think it would be. But if you stop him, I believe you beat the Panthers.
Yeah, I didn't see the second half, so he might have ran up some garbage yards.
Yeah,
but I know in the first half he wasn't doing anything. And if you stop McCaffrey, you stop the Panthers. Do I think the season's over for the Panthers? No, but Jeff, I think they're a very vulnerable, very average team at best.
Yeah, there's going to be games where they can outcoach certain teams if they're not, if the talent isn't lopsided. I think we've seen that from the Panthers. They can do that, but obviously not ready to hang with teams that are on the top tier.
With Emmanuel Sanders, Jeff, we can do a separate video on this week or next week. But with Emmanuel Sanders, are the 49ers Super Bowl contenders? I got to say, yeah.
After seeing this defense play the way it has and how dominant the defensive line is, they were lacking probably only a receiver offensively. Yeah.
And we've always liked Shanahan, and we thought they'd be really good last year, but the injuries decimated them. But it just seems like everything's coming to fruition. And we haven't seen the best out of Jimmy G, but I do feel like he's got more in him.
And the formula, too. I mean, we've seen teams win Super Bowls with this formula. Win on both in the trenches, get to the other team's quarterback, and if you're able to score points when you get the ball back, that's perfect. And they're running the football, too. And with that, we'll jump to the Raiders-Texans. Raiders had a good chance to win this one, I felt like, but the defense let them down in this game.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson was magnificent, don't get me wrong, but the Raiders really should have won this game.
But their secondary was so bad, especially in the second half. It got to be overwhelming, and I felt like they did enough offensively to get the W. That wasn't a problem for me.
But also, though, when Raiders got the ball back after Deshaun made that miraculous play, Raiders didn't do anything, and I guess that was one thing that disappointed me. But Raiders are a good football team. Texans are a good football team, and I think we can finally call the Raiders a good football team. I know we've been saying it. We've been covering spreads with them, but they are a legit good football team, and they run the rock really well.
Yep, I do agree. And then going forward, and I think we were on the money when we said if just their defense gets a little bit better. I mean, next year, if they add some more defensive pieces, maybe another receiver, they're going to be in contention, I think, and be a good team. And with that, we'll move to the Browns-Patriots. Another one that really made me mad. This one actually made me mad because of the referees.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Browns were going to win the game, but in the second half, anytime that they got a big play down the field, they called penalties. And when I saw the replay, they weren't penalties.
I know. Some of those penalties were legit, like especially in the first half, the hands to the face. But you're right, in the second half, every time the Browns would complete a pass over 5 yards, they'd call offensive pass interference, or they'd find a way to bring it back. But this game, though, this is why we don't like Freddie Kitchens. This was a mungled mess. But
the mistakes early for the Browns sank them too. 10 points like it was nothing. They gave the Patriots because of turnovers. Obviously, Nick Chubb with that fumble was absolutely terrible. You got to hold on to that. Patriots are a good football team. No doubt they were going to win this game. Just expected a little bit more for the Browns offensively.
Yeah, and you look at the Browns, and it's easy to say they're done. I mean, we were never really high on the Browns coming into this year. We were picking around like 8 wins. I think we were in that radius. But I do think they have an easy part of the schedule coming up if they can build on anything. But this could easily spiral out of control. This could easily. It's
just offensively, there's no rhythm. I don't understand when you got a player like Chubb, you just run the football. You work in play action, and again, Freddie Kitchens is misusing Jarvis Landry. I've been noting that now for the past 2 years. Going deep once in a while with him is fine, but you got to get him on drag routes.
That's where he does his best work.
Yeah, you got to do that.
You would think you would have seen him on a lot of drag routes, considering the Patriots play man-to-man every play.
Yeah, I just don't think he's putting players in positions to succeed, and I think he needs to be fired, and I don't think they will, unfortunately, but they should. And with that, we'll wrap it up with Packers-Chiefs. Got to give a little bit of credit to Andy Reid for making this work with Moore at quarterback. They were able to keep this a lot closer than I thought.
Did you see that one touchdown pass from Aaron the Game Rodgers? Man, that was brilliant. That was brilliant.
He had a really good game. The Chiefs' defense, obviously, we knew that they had their issues, and it showed in this game for sure. Packers did enough offensively to get the W, but credit to Big Red though for doing it.
I'm cautious about the Packers. Me and you, I don't. You thought they'd be pretty good. I picked them to win this division going into the year, but even with that being said, I am cautious about the Packers. A game like this makes me feel a little bit cautious.
Well, I'll tell you what the Chiefs did in this game was they took advantage of the linebackers for the Packers because those linebackers can't cover worth a lick. They're decent in run stoppage.
And they're not athletic.
Yeah, Andy Reid worked to the outside. Those outside linebackers were absolutely horrific in this game for the Packers. I felt like that was what kept the Chiefs in it. And tonight we got Dolphins-Steelers. Steelers are going to win, just a matter of by how much, I think.
Yeah, and you do wonder about the Dolphins. They traded away another player today.
Yeah.
What was the spread on this game?
It was 14.5.
Oh, God. I think Dolphins cover, though. I think Dolphins cover. But, yeah, Steelers are a lot to win this game.
Yeah, and I do have the Steelers to win and cover. I just feel like that defense is going to run the Dolphins out of the Steelers stadium.
Subscribe, hit the like button, share the videos, the Lawson and Gift podcast.